How are you? Great. Nice. How's training?
It's coming.
Yeah, good.
Your schedule leads to weird things, so I try and come like recording 15 minutes.
For sure. Yeah. Good. I enjoy seeing you in the next classes.
Yeah,
When the timing works out and you're physically and mentally there, jump in. Like that's right where you need to be. I love that. Both have tremendous value to you.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of super nice podcasts, and you're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I still feel awkward about asking them, but they ask me, and I'm like,
the don't ask higher belt thing is a rule we don't apply.
I know, but it's still like,
Sure. But it's important for you to hear me say, that's not a real thing here.
Yeah, you said to me before.
Yeah. Like,
but they're asking me, which is like really nice. Like, I don't expect that.
For sure.
It's really cool.
And it's safer.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep you in good ranges, and that's fine. I love it. And that's the experience where that comes in. And the fundamentals class is rounding out everything else we're adding up to. I love that. How has your mount gotten? That's what we did last time.
It's getting better, I think.
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Just with my buddy, and then I was on town last week.
Yep.
Tomorrow? No, I'm going to be okay, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like stronger than it was.
Good.
I still see this on the video too. If I go for the back take, I end up getting rolled from top to bottom, like reversed.
Let's put some polish on it. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I'd love to look at it.
I videotape them. I don't know. Like, I don't want to send you everything. I want to send you a specific. So I'll start.
I also don't want you to send me everything.
Yeah, no, I know. It's too much.
Yeah.
But I can find where I specifically have.
If you send me everything and timestamp it, I'm happy to take a look.
Yeah. I'll put it specifically where something happens, and then you can do it. That's exactly. Because certain things keep happening over and over again. If you find it once, and you see it.
I'd love that. I'd love that. Send me the whole file, timestamp it. There we go.
On that note, also, what role do you think like video plays? Not my video, but instructional video in this game, because I feel like the best rocket fuel here would be for me to, like this week we're doing turtle, right? So I know one thing with turtle right now. So I feel like I should just find a bunch of turtle videos. Like if I know that we're doing turtles, and I should ask you before, you would whatever. What's the thing for next week?
Yep.
And then what? Not about the.
We set it over the weekend and dispersed it on Monday, so we don't know till the Monday. But
you don't know till Monday.
But I'm happy to pass to you on the Monday.
Yeah. I can email you on Monday.
If you ping me, I'll get it back to you.
I think that's easy to do, and then just like let me watch 3 or 4 things to try. Because right now we have one thing to try, right?
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then or 2 things.
Sure.
If that's it, then but if
Yeah.
those fail, then I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And also defensives. I mean, we have the one head pop out, but that's it really. What's your take on that?
We run into one of the biggest issues with teaching the sport. No one's found the perfect way to teach it. The sport is too deep.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we love about it. There's simply no best practices for learning, and tradition and momentum really get in the way of that. But one of the things that I think about a lot is the paradox of choice. Having 18 things to do from turtle, a lot of times means you have 0 things to do from turtle.
Okay.
And so there's a balance there of, in my opinion, the way I think and the way I believe really good players think is the priority stack. I'm going to go for 1, and then if that doesn't work, that leads me into 2, and that chaining the way of thinking through that is the correct way to go. Getting extra techniques on YouTube is fantastic. Again, I'm not down talking at all.
No, you're not.
The barrier to entry is low.
Yeah.
So the quality is mixed, and that's tough. Even if it's a good
even if I paid for like DVD sets by someone who's, and I agree with you. I don't want to have like 10 techniques. I want to have like 3 or 4 to try all week.
I'm happy to cut you off. Keep going.
Sorry, very fine.
I'm happy to give you names of people who I really like online, and that could help us for sure. Yeah. I think in general, you're smart enough to see 3 or 4 videos, or 10 videos, or whatever, and pick out the best practices and the similarities. I remember being younger in the sport, seeing a technique, and then seeing a technique slightly different, and then not knowing which one was better. And now that I'm older, I realize that neither of them are better. It's just important to execute and understand what strings them together. What's the underlying concepts that they're accomplishing through the specific steps of the technique. With that said, I don't know if more is always better.
No,
so
it's not. It's not.
That's the balance, right?
I don't want to say like more like a million. I want more like a stack. I want a short stack.
Yeah.
Of things to try. Like I remember learning 12 years ago the clock choke from Turtle Flip. It's like, well, if I had the front headlock and the clock, that would be a really nice combination to like, and then that would be it, right? Like,
yeah.
Not go into all this crazy 10 things to do.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of front headlock guillotines and the back take. Like that's a really good.
Okay.
And like board game theory, like triplets are incredibly powerful. So guillotines, arm in chokes, anacondas and darcies, and the back take for me are the three things that I'm looking for from that front headlock piece. It kind of depends on their movement of which one I try first, but very similar to like the mount escapes we've been talking about. Like the important thing is I try one of them first. I try to bump and roll. That's not there. The shrimp is going to be easier. If not, I shrimp the other way. If not, I bump and roll the other way. The momentum is the key. That's where paradox of choice can kind of handcuff us, because as we're sitting there going through the recipe cards trying to figure out the right way forward, we're not moving, and the other player gets extra chess moves, and that's what really bogs. I've found myself getting bogged down making that mistake in the past. Balance. Yeah. But happy to talk about that more. My curriculum idea for the day was continuing them out through the back take and talking about back control and best practices and everything else. If you prefer to talk about turtle, I'm primed and ready to go.
I will do whatever you suggest. My only little introduction will be that it's easier to work on turtle because we're doing.
Sure.
Like when we're in class, I can work on the things that we talked about, as opposed to like last week we were doing so they have us. Usually it's 3 rolls and we're doing like 2 of whatever position we started in, and then 1 open closed guard or whatever.
Sure.
But let's keep working one. I'd rather keep working one. I think
cool.
It's better.
So let's do turtle. Yes.
No. Let's keep doing the one that we're doing. Let's work that until the point where it's like really solid. I think that's probably better than getting distracted. But I can do it.
Yeah, and like we're telling our own story, so we're connecting mount to the back take to back. Once you take the back from turtle, and I think that I haven't seen Giovanni or Sebastian teach the technique this week. This is my white belt night tonight.
Okay.
That's one of the techniques of the week, is it not?
Yeah, take the back.
Yeah.
Guillotine. Unfortunately, can't come tonight.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Yeah.
So that's the game. I don't know if I teach it differently or the same, but happy to do it.
We'll figure it out.
I have no problem telling the story right now. Like, whatever.
Yeah. No, we'll go pretty good. We'll see what
cool
happens.
Just make sure this is before I.
Yeah, let's go. Even though I haven't watched them yet. I should. But I'll watch it tomorrow.
Good to have.
I'll watch it.
So we're going to talk about the back take from mount and
Yeah.
continue the story to back.
Yeah.
Good? Cool. Excellent. So from mount, I'm going to do it, and then you're going to do it.
We'll do front one.
Yes.
I know one word from that front one.
You drive. I'll navigate from the bottom.
So right here. I'm going to do arms here. Oh no, never mind. It's the arm bar, not the back take.
But this is fine. It's the exact same position here.
Yeah.
You got the good pillow. You're facing the same direction. You forced the turn, which is fantastic. And we're here. So if you want to go armbar, and this is what we were talking about last time, right? Your friend enjoys the armbar from the top side. I enjoy the armbar from the bottom side because we control the legs. In my opinion, this is much stronger. All the way through the hamstring. Fantastic step through. Growing from the elbow to the wrist. Yeah, there's your winner. Rotate and win. Fantastic. If you come right back to that same set, using the 2-on-1 to get across, let's get in that same position. So you're going this way, can't get it. Do the same move. Sternum is the doorstop. You're turning knee, gift wrap. Fantastic. So from here, the back take is all about the bottom shoulder. Okay? For me to protect my back, the easiest way for me to protect my back is to get my back flat on the mat. This top shoulder, my left shoulder, is not going to get to the mat because it's not going to go through your body. I'm going to get flat by scooting this shoulder away. That's the bigger risk for you to control. So the gift wrap is nice, but we're only gift wrapping to control this shoulder. So I want this hand to find that right shoulder and just cup it right where my hand is here. Pulling it in. If you want to keep your right hand on my wrist, but do the same thing, totally fine. That's fantastic control. Nope, your left hand is perfect. Your right hand here, right here. If you let go of the gift wrap, I want you just to double up on this and your elbows to your hips. Just pulling it in, exactly. It doesn't take a huge amount of strength from you to prevent me from rotating.
If I put my hand,
if you're here,
I'm here.
Just cupping the shoulder right there.
Leg up here or down here.
Sorry. What we're looking to do is prevent the slide up.
Okay.
So for me, that is the spot that is opposing the force of the rotation. So that's what I want. Okay. If you're on the wrist in that gift wrap piece with your right hand, grab this with your right hand. Yeah, this is fine. Just do the same thing. Just pull it into my shoulder. Okay. So now,
is there any advantage to pulling out of this?
Yeah, it is a momentum dampener for sure, and it continues the threat of the armbar or the head and arm choke, the arm triangle if we punch through. Exactly, you can transition the other way and start going the other way. But here we already have the back exposed, let's keep it going. We want to make sure we have our right knee high like a pillow. You can't feel it? Nice, that's perfect. So we're in, and now we're going to tuck our right shin in. This is going to be the bottom hook. So the one thing we can't do is fall backwards onto our right shoulder. When you do that, you give me room to rotate, and that rotation is what kills us. In the same vein, I think we talked about this when we were looking at that armbar last week. You cannot put your right hip on the mat and then try to step over my head. Because as soon as that right hip touches, this feels really good. It feels like good jiu-jitsu, but you've lost a lot of control. Yeah. There's no weight on me. My ability to rotate is better. Yeah. The shoulder is free. Everything changes. So here, we've got my shoulder, the danger shoulder under control, so I can't get flat. And now we're going to tuck our back shin in. Our right shin touches my spine. And now we're going to go Olympic wrestling. They penalize you if your back is ever facing the mat. That's what we think about, zero back exposure. So we're going to go right butt cheek to left butt cheek to left shoulder in like a rainbow motion here. And just keep this right where it is. So we go cheek, cheek, shoulder, exactly. Now this hook, which we stepped over with, is very, very deep. This is strong. This is where we want to end up. Just like that Olympic wrestling thing I just said, at some point we needed to set a rule for where back control was. They set it at both heels in the middle. Yeah. So tournament competition style, we want to get here. But this tricks us into thinking both of these are equal, and they're just not. This is 98% of control. So here I have a 6-inch fence I have to jump over, and here I have a 14-inch fence to jump over. This is just by far the stronger position. So if you're thinking about points, we are dropping them in, holding it for 3, and then hopefully re-stepping on the hip, kicking this wide, and coming here. We're going to talk about these pieces here. That's the control, that's the shoulder, that's the pivot, that rainbow sit is so important. As soon as you go backwards and expose your back to the mat, I just have so much room to rotate. And that's where the biggest mistake I see. So let's do it again. And just like we were talking about the triplets, this is a positive combination of you can head and arm, you can arm bar from there, or you can take the back.
So one question from here, if you're sitting like this, how do I get the arm across? That's something that I was struggling to do.
Yeah, so if you come back in, one of the things we were looking at last week, it's hard to make people do what they don't want to do, and it's easy to trick them. Not last week, last session. I want to constantly be inchworming to get the points of my elbows in. Keeps you on my hips, so my bridges are more powerful. It allows me to start trapping feet, or shrimp and everything else. And it leaves my hands exactly in the right spot to defend the collars. You posting on my shoulders, pulling the knees in, this is now much, much easier. So now, this elbow is exposed. So now we can start leaning on it. And the other thing we can do is use this as a reactionary tool of when I go to bridge to shrimp, if your knees are wide and your hips are weighted on me, your anticipation is greatly heightened. So you can feel which way I'm going early, and we step up with that foot, exactly. We just stare the same way they're going. And now we're right in. This is perfect. Going underneath this arm is exactly what we want. We're setting that seatbelt grip from the very beginning, right? Sometimes we don't hit it. That's fine. Number one is controlling the shoulder. We're going to get 2 hands on the shoulder, pull it in so I'm vertical, and now trust your right hand and your left hand, old Western quick draws back to your hip. this, draw your gun, nice, and now just go underneath. Exactly. Just redraw and come back in. Now we're here, this is going to be the bottom hook. We have everything we need. Exactly. This is one of those things where it feels like you have a lot of choice, and we just need to convince ourselves we don't. If I'm on this side, I have to go all the way to the far hip.
Yeah.
The end. This is all fantastic. We end up on the what we call weak side, which we're going to talk about why they're named that and what the benefits are. And currently, with best practices, we prefer to attack from the weak side. So it's the better way. Yeah. Sweet. Let's do the same thing going the other direction. It's okay?
Well, let me do it. Well, let's mess it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going for a record.
Fantastic position. Yes. There are some moments where going over that shoulder is helpful, but it's not at the beginning. As we're moving and settling, the correction you made to put this down here is perfect.
Doesn't quite have as much real grip.
For sure. So we're just making sure this is across the belt line. This is a good angle, and our left foot is just going to stomp on my hip. This diagonal control is important, and everything here feels good. Now you can stack your feet. You can cross them. As long as they're on the outside, you can do whatever you want. A lot of times when I don't have room to leg triangle, I'll just stack them. And that's it. Very, very nice. What a difference. Now you can actually make moves. This is great. And this gift wrap is nice because this is my primary defensive hand and you already have it dominated. This is the choking arm. The grip I want is thumb in here. This is the most important piece of my defense. And how my palm is in between your hand and where your hand needs to be. It's the easiest block I have. But with this gift wrap that you're playing, we kind of already limit that. So now we'll be able to pass it off and have a clean shot at the neck. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that exact pattern in a second. I just want to highlight that the grip is good and keep it all the way through. That rotation is good. Makes sense. The sitting, the pulling. We're going to need one more. I'm going to highlight just one small thing that you're not doing incorrect. I just want to make sure we're seeing it as it flies by. You're constantly climbing up, so much stronger. So if you think you have a wiggler or a spinner or something, I'm just a wily, crafty guy. The other thing you can do right here is take your left elbow and pull it back to your hip. If you really keep that pinned to your hip, I lose the ability to turn in this direction. You feel that? So if I'm really wiggly here, we make sure we just rack that left elbow up high before we sit.
Bring it low, you mean, bring it like to your feet.
Up high on your quad, sorry.
Oh, got it.
Exactly. This feels good. Yeah. Shin touches. Rainbow sit all the way over. That's fantastic. Points. We're in. Nice. We're going to add a piece and we're going to do more drilling from the beginning. I like this drill. If you face away, we'll get into the camera here. Perfect. So let's talk back control.
Yep.
2 feet in, we're going to sit up because it's just easy to talk about.
Yep.
And here. The piece we need to change about our understanding is that my hands and feet are not keeping you in this position. My elbows and my knees play a bigger role. If I'm squeezing you Heimlich style, I'm just giving you a hula hoop with which you can spin inside of. Exactly. The elbows are the winglets on the airplane that really steer this entire piece. It's important for me to get this choking elbow, pardon me, over the top and in front of the shoulder. And this is taking a bite into the ribs. And now just as reinforcement, I cross my hands here. So I don't want you to grab these, but come here, but really it's the elbows doing the work. So if you turn to look at the bathrooms, this elbow is what's preventing you from turning there. If you turn to look at the shoes, it's this elbow digging in. I don't have to fire them all the time, that's that anticipation piece. But when I feel you looking to go into the bathrooms, I can turn it down. Okay. It's tough to do that just squeezing in or spinning, because then the whole thing starts turning. So my elbows in place is a huge piece of control. And so now the next rule we need to talk about is the gripping style. So if you want your left hand on my choking hand, this is the most important grip for you. I need this hand up here. Anytime I grab, same side. So my left hand is grabbing your left hand. I want to be on the palm. It feels natural, and we all grab the wrist, but there's two major weaknesses to this. Number one, your lobster claw still works. You can grab whatever you want at full strength. Number two, if you give me a Jersey fist bump here, you can, all the way out, you can outstretch me because your shoulder's in front of mine, and you can break the grip. Okay. Here, I can inhibit the lobster claw action. Your grip is weaker. And number two, I'm at the end of the lever, so when you fist pump, I can shorten the fist pump and not let you fully extend. So you don't get to exploit the fact that your shoulder's in front. I'm sorry if I'm putting stress on your wrist.
That's fine. No, this is actually, the only thing that's bothering me now is my right shoulder. No, this is actually fine. No, it's fine, it's fine.
So we want the thumb in, and we're here, and this is the grip. Anytime we're grabbing across, this palm grip is a little too shallow. It'll slip. So anytime we're grabbing across, we do want to be on the wrist. Okay. So if I'm grabbing across, I want to be on the wrist. If I'm grabbing same side, I want to be on the palm. And we can do these at the same time. This feels like a weak grip to me because my hands are crossed, but I'm following all the rules I've set and my elbows are still in. I have tremendous amounts of control.
This one's always on top?
Anytime I re-grip, the moving hand goes on bottom. I'm so glad you asked that. If I'm here and I want to pass this off, this is a little bit weaker. I'm always going to take the inside leg. Inside, inside, inside. If I'm reaching for the other hand, I go underneath and find this. If I want this grip, I'm here. Same side, palm grip, cross side, wrist grip. So the most common pattern is I get here, you immediately recognize the choking hand, get your left hand out, I grab the palm, my wrist, pardon me, elbows, come forward, take a little deeper of a bite, and I pull my elbows apart. Makes it easy to separate my hands. This punches down, and now I have a free choke hand. Your right hand is weaker here. It's a chase hand. You're behind the action. Yeah. This is a positive grip because it's in front of you.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Cool. So we'll switch. You're going to run those rules by me.
Let's face it.
Let's face it. Throw the hooks in just for now. Bang, bang. Perfect.
Over here.
Yeah.
This is the strong hand. This is the weak hand. I always, when I grab on the same side, I'm grabbing with the palm.
Yep.
Set a little bit. Good. Palm grip.
Yeah, exactly. Bye-bye. So inside, yeah. And it feels so good to grab the wrist, but if you grab my wrist, I just want you to feel it like, yeah, it's easy to out-chase you.
It's not as strong right there.
And I can come in, exactly.
Nice grip. Feel this off.
Exactly.
I'm passing this hand off, and I'm just going to...
Yep.
And it's with the thumb?
Yep. Perfect. If you're coming to the other one, you just always come under. So you're here, you come get the other one, it's underneath. Exactly. That's the game. Bang, perfect. And
This one would be, yeah, this.
Yep. Yep. That's how we pass off all the grips. And just think about, let's stay here, but let's flop to a side so we're not doing like a weird ab workout. Just think about where your elbows are all the time, right? This elbow is the most important piece here. We want it in front of the shoulder because very similar to that back break, that controlling the shoulder movement is the important thing. Just getting it and keeping it in front of the shoulder is what's going to prevent my shoulder from sliding out. So as you feel me trying to slide, this activates and just keeps it there. Your elbow to hip is a very strong core motion for you. So you should be able to control my shoulder from here. If I'm going to come to my knees, your left elbow is going to take a bite in my ribs. So if I somehow get rid of this hook here, when I'm coming to my knees, it's that left elbow, exactly. Just like you're steering an airplane, right? When the wind starts blowing you, you're just tamping that side down. I'm making up a bunch of stuff here, but that's the analogy we're going for. And so here I'm protecting the choke. Let's run through the next piece. So your left hand is going to grab. Exactly. And if we do it again, we're here. Left hand finds your grip. I want both elbows to release their position and go just a little bit deeper. And now dig both elbows in and just pull your elbows apart. Think about splitting my sternum open from the back. This is the pressure that's going to break this grip. Same thing.
It's not the hand versus, it's not the side arm,
No.
Not the hand versus hand. It's pulling the arms apart with the back muscles.
If we think about pulling our elbows apart with the back muscles, we will intrinsically do both of them.
Yeah.
If we think about pulling our hands apart, it's just a tricep push. Exactly.
Yeah, for stickers.
And we need a hold for this. Just put some of my belly button. Just feel that was right down. I'm weak here. This is chasing. It's not as strong. I can't pull the wall to prevent you feeling where you want to go. You're just going to blast right through that. Very nice. If you stay with me, we go the other direction. I want you to see. Nope, keep it over the top. This is called weak side. It's a little bit easier for me to escape, but it's a little bit easier for you to attack because your choking hand is not impinged by the mat exactly. So all the rules here are the exact same. This is the most important piece, the bottom hook. Me getting rid of the bottom hook is 98% of all my attack options. I'm trying to double up. I immediately get the thumb in, and we're here. Elbows take a bite and then pull backwards. Yes, that's the motion right there. If you want to pass it off, if you want to pass it off. Fantastic. In a gi, this is nice because your right hand can really find this collar anywhere, and then you can just start walking exactly. Once you're here, you just zipper it up to where you want to be. In no gi, it's easy for me to close my chin. And it's tough for you to beat the top of my mandible. So we always want to take our thumb joint, this guy, and beat the curve of the mandible, and then follow it around. That makes sense? There's always room up here. It's really tough for me to close that hole. So if you're stuck, some people are very good chin crunchers. I am not, but some people can really get it all the way in there. You just backtrack, get underneath.
Oh, your thumb is bent like that.
Yeah, I make like a skinny fist, and this guy is going to just find the corner of the jaw and pop through. And once you're through, you're in. Once your fingers are in, your wrist is in. Once your wrist is in, your elbow is. Well, that's it. So let's go back from mount, get some reps, all the way to finishing that choke.
I tried to show my cousin the beginnings of jiu-jitsu, just
Yeah.
for fun.
Cool.
And I had him choke me and putting his elbows together.
That's the game.
I'm like, no, just like I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, now choke me, putting your elbows together because you can't do it. You're 45. I thought it was 45. You just didn't want to try.
I don't want to murder you. Thank you. There's a very funny saying that I started, I think Keenan said it, but I started doing jiu-jitsu 15 years ago for self-defense, and now I can't make a fist without a hand. That's a good cost benefit.
That's why I usually take my hands up like this.
Exactly. Why not today?
I just put
Time?
out, and then we're going. And
Great.
we're not going hard, so, it's like...
Perfect.
So, all right, 1 second. So right here, you're giving it to me, which is fine and all, but I didn't really have a great, up here.
And for me, it's more about the position of your chest than the horizontal movement of my arm.
Okay.
So you're trying to popcorn this up, and now get your sternum behind my elbow. Not as a pusher, but as a doorstep, because now your hands get to move again.
So should I move my chest over, or just, I'm okay to go to that side? Because you're not going to roll me that way then?
If I roll you that way,
You can't, because your arms are this side.
you anticipate it, and open up this wing and face the same direction as you. If I'm going to tip on my side for you, we take that as a positive. Let me show you what I mean. If we're here, you want to get your sternum, exactly. Now we've got a good pusher. If I start rolling you this way, you're just going to release the pressure. I can't prevent you from getting high. You just go high with your chest, and now if I'm coming this way, we're just going to look this way, which means we step up. Exactly. That's got to be the automatic piece. And now we're here.
This is under. This one, I forget which this one's there on the shoulder.
All I care about is preventing this shoulder from sliding away. any hand grip that accomplishes that is great for me. If it was me right here, I'd probably take my left hand and physically cup the shoulder exactly. The right hand doesn't need help securing this. My elbow can't get back to my hip or this way because your sternum and your chest, so you're in a good spot. I'm trying to just unwind this way. Pull that right elbow back. All the way through. Yeah. I'm already weak because this is my defensive hand. That's what I was saying before. I desperately want this grip.
No. I looked at the bracket. It was going to be like potentially just straight into the semis. Like that's where it was looking like.
If you have a tough time there, or keep slipping, the other tool you have is your head. So if we go ear to ear, and you push my head up, it exposes my jaw even more. Let's add one more piece. The best choke from here is the one that fails safe and not deadly. So we have a race, and we get to decide when we say go, and your left hand is going to reach across to the far corner. It's tough for me to prevent because you're the one that lets go. Right? This is just bell roping. People think we're like horizontally pulling. They're doing different things. This is down. This has to clear my shoulder. Number one, right elbow comes up to clear the shoulder and then drops up down to the hip. Okay. Exactly. You just got to get over my
Oh,
back.
what's over the shoulder? Okay.
Every choke is rotational, right? Here, your head is in the right spot, which means we're in the right plane to rotate, but my shoulder can get in the way. A good defense is we try to pin this in front of my shoulder. Now you can't rotate it. You got to clear the shoulder and now drop it down to the hip as you go. That's fantastic. More.
I don't know if it'll be live, but it'll at least be recorded and then uploaded.
So I'm not trying to win. We're just going to introduce that Soviet wiggle test we were talking about before. Great. Now it's like a boat ratchet, right? This elbow can't go backwards, so now you can take your time and just move it, move it, move it. Exactly. Now we're stepping. This step-up foot is in a very strong position. You're very good at that. This is a good spot. Great angle. It's crazy. I feel like you think about going backwards. And then you don't, and you do it perfectly. I love that. Just make sure you don't do it. Yeah, perfect. If I'm coming to my knees, it's all left elbow, right? Bang. If I'm trying to be flat, it's all right elbow. Fantastic. Not quite there. Yes. This is your choking. Yep. So when we're here, we go under. Yeah. Very nice. Let's add a small detail here of the no-gi style. What's called a short choke. Exactly. We're not going to get the other arm in, and we don't need it. As you punch the jaw, which you're doing a really good job of, you're getting underneath. If you go all the way back to my trap, here, if there's any space here, this is the exit sign. I've got to get my back through this hole, and now I can start running away, right? So once you get all the way to my trap, underneath my neck, pull this up high and put your chin on top of your head. Now that exit
started
is gone.
jiu-jitsu and how you met me.
This is still
Yeah, just like coming out to your house.
Once you're all the way in, every choke is stronger if it's rotational, rear naked included. So once you're here and you anchor it with your chin, your left elbow is pulling backwards the way it could.
I want to say Josh was a good. We went to get when we first bought a house.
It's like a It's a troubled analogy because of history, but it has to be like a hangman's noose. If you,
I'm not that
for sure. It's the visual analogy that helps them. If the cow, sure. Really?
Yeah, it wasn't available time.
Oh, sure. Were they handlers? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. They did. Excellent. I love that.
It's easy to forget that when you live in America.
It sure is. I'm stopping Smartman again.
You're mindful of it. I mean,
If they left the rope out overnight and it froze, it doesn't work as well because it doesn't slip. Us trying to choke by firing our muscles freezes the rope and prevents it from rotating. I'd much rather connect and rotate that choke. That's what really brings the strength on you. But if I could do it to you, to make sure we can visually make sure we talk the same language, so we'll go this way. Bang. If I'm here, I've got the choking hand, or the defensive hand. If I need a wedge, it's here. I beat you there, I come all the way in. Sorry. Me, firing the muscles, I can get tight. If I hold this for 15 seconds, you're going to tap.
yeah.
I can puff my chest to make this tighter, but what really works is rotating. Pulling this back is where a lot of that power comes. And if I'm rotating, I don't want to fire my bicep at all. I want to be strong here, but I'm not stiff. So I close it and I rotate and really good things happen.
Cool.
It's the same here.
Yeah.
The rotation is just much more obvious because of the collar rip. We just beat the shoulder and then pull it across. The end. In my opinion, the rear naked is even stronger with that same rotation. We've convinced ourselves that that turns into a neck crank, and it just doesn't. It just does a better job of closing the area inside that circle. Advantage. That chest is much stronger there, I like that. If we're here and you're losing the slide, your sternum backs up, gets behind the shoulder, and you use your sternum and the arms to readjust it. That's it. It's not just the arms, right? We use that body ratchet
That makes sense.
to get right where we need.
All the muscles of your entire body, not just
That's
the
it.
arms.
And you're on top. You have positional dominance. You can change that angle whenever you want.
This goes.
Fantastic. This back take is nice because it puts us on the weak side, which is also called underhook side, to remember. Slightly easier for me to escape. Almost all my escapes involve me getting my back to the mat in this direction. It's a little bit easier for me to do that with this seatbelt connection. Your head's on the bottom, which is a weaker spot for you. But as long as you're mindful of that bottom hook, it's also easier for you to attack.
Why am I getting this step across the other side, not on this side? You have an idea? Like this way I can't.
Could be a fat thing. But if you need more room, you can always back this up by stomping on this hip. And now kind of kicking our right straight. Just kind of relaxing here and then come across the back. That's kind of like the reset.
I can't see before you here. That's okay. I'm just trying to figure out why I can do that one side, not the other.
Yeah, let's look at the other side next.
Yeah.
Let's see what feels different. I'm weird. I can probably scoot in here a bit.
No, I mean, it happens naturally. There's something over there at the ball.
For sure.
It's not. Well, I'm just going to touch the one side, but I don't think that's
We will address it together. But left foot stomping on the hip, right foot coming high across. Fantastic. If you can wrap your shoelaces here, that's just such a strong position. Just put them, just shelf your shoelaces.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now you can either cross your feet or just stack them. Both are really, really strong. I've got to get over this fence and it's stuck on the left side of the clock. Yep. Elbows in. Excellent. You bring them both there, I like that. That's the game. That's the game. One. I'm trying to think of other details, but everything we did there was good. With positional dominance, it's really tough for me to prevent you from getting posture, especially without a good solid grip. Yeah. So as you're playing this ratchet game, if you think I'm shifting you or whatever, you're just going to get your posture back and rotate with me. So the way you're using your sternum as a doorstop now is much more effective than just trying to use your arms to push it across.
Okay.
That combo is the secret.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. All the way across now, I didn't do the discussion. Almost. Huh.
You know what? I'm not sure either.
Alright.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's just random.
Maybe your legs are different. Like, you just never noticed till that.
If you pull that with your right hand, I just ignore it.
If you can punch all the way through my trap, that's not the right defense. This defense is specific for the rotation that comes next.
Okay.
This is the defensive hand I want. This is the defensive hand I'm stuck with. If you get right thumb inside the collar, if I can keep my shoulder behind this elbow, I have more time. Because your rotation is now stuck. So as you finish, even if you get across with the left hand and go to finish, I have more time because this can't rotate the way it wants to.
I can get over your shoulder.
So I can like try to change the angle and run and everything else. But if I'm doing that, you punch and come all the way to the trap, chin on, rotate, I'm cooked. Specific defense, we have two options moving forward.
What's the defense to the one with the trap? The second one. The non-collar where I'm just rotating.
What's the defense?
Like the first.
I can't let you get underneath my chin.
Okay.
You can choke through the chin, but in general in jiu-jitsu we try not to.
It's bad in your job.
It's not a proper defense because the binary choice you're giving the attacker is
crush your jaw.
It includes breaking your jaw. You're like, that's not really the game you want to play. I either go unconscious or I get my jaw broken.
One of my
and then go unconscious.
colleagues trained in an MMA gym said that one of the guys had a foot fracture. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, I don't like it though.
No, it's terrible. So you have a sinus here, there's a bone and a bone, and then an eye socket, which is a circle. So if you fracture through it, this bone is just kind of floating, it's not attached to anything.
From a choke?
From a choke. Face across choke.
Yeah.
Just tap.
And then
Go out of there.
when we create a full body system, we can put a lot of pressure through
Right in
it.
the face, yeah.
It's silly.
Well, there's one, the guy who did the that Askren fight, the ref was on Joe Rogan.
Oh, cool.
And he was talking about some other fight where the guy's forearm broke in an armbar. He didn't have the elbow across through the.
I know Tim Sylvia, friend from your heavyweight championship.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But you see the guy's in slow-mo. In real time, it's hard to watch, but you see his forearms. I mean, that's.
Well, one of them pops up,
for like half a second, and then it goes pops back down.
Amazing, and he stood up and was fine.
Yeah, well, he said he had 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Before he felt the pain, he's like, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
It's not me. I'm not doing that.
Amazing. The ref was, especially that long ago. That was not 2 years ago. This was earlier stages to have the ref
it's a lot
be in the right spot to be looking at the right thing to see that forearm pop. Crazy. 05, 06?
Oh, is it that long ago?
That's the fight I'm thinking of. I'm sure it's happened a couple times. I know Forrest Griffin blew his forearm out as well.
What time do you have?
15, 10? I'd like to just keep repping if that's okay.
I want to try and do I want to troubleshoot this, I think I got it, but the sweep we're doing this week with the lasso.
Oh, sure, here.
Yeah.
Done.
If you don't mind.
You do what you think?
I think I got it. So we're here.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. I've looked for it online. I mean, in my head, and also in the examples I've seen online, people keep their foot here as opposed to here.
Sure.
They're circling this. Josh is teaching this.
Especially if they're standing.
Yeah.
If they're standing and want to get to the hip,
Yeah.
this is a better grip. Just me pulling away, we're going to change a couple things, adjust a couple things. Number one, the grip style in lasso is so important. Your left elbow has to be on your hip, and your left palm has to be at the ceiling. If it's not here, then I have an easy time rotating, and once I rotate, it's a different game. So this is pulling down the whole time, and you're turning your palm up. Now my hand is stuck on the inside.
How rotated am I?
So you should be able to lock the elbow in behind your hip, and now keep your hip where it is, or elbow where it is, and the relationship doesn't change.
Okay.
You just have to set it properly the first time.
Okay.
If there's any slack here, one of the first things I'm looking to do is see, can I rotate the back of my hand out? Okay. If I can't, then we keep going, right? So here the move of the day is about a longer lasso. So we're kicking through, getting the inside of our foot on the lat exactly. Now my in-out movement is hindered because you're crow footing me from behind. Excellent. So here I'm on my knees, so the spider hook is ready to go. You pull your hips back in square. Yep. And now open my elbow, look and watch my shoulder touch the mat up over there.
Oh, it's that way.
Now you're up on your shoulder as well as you roll through. You put my shoulder down and you get your shoulder down and you roll up with me and steal the momentum. Let's do it again.
Okay.
You'll see it and feel it. As you fall over, we've got two ways to get up, right? We can have our hip down, just like we both did. Or we can have our shoulder down and get our hips up in the air.
Yeah.
For this one, the momentum is cleaner if we get our shoulder down and our hips up in the air.
It's like the one you taught 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2 weeks ago. Whatever it was. It was the other spider guard one.
Yeah. Yes.
You do that.
That's exactly it.
Rotation.
This deep lasso with the club foot is nice because it scales really nicely. Even if I stand, you still have good push-pull control. Yeah.
From the side. Then I'll. So you're standing. Alright, so here.
Yep. I'd throw a spider in first. It's a good spacer to make sure you have room to get the lasso in. Yeah. And here you're kicking long and deep. Excellent. I can't run away as well. You're hooked into that leg. This is excellent. Josh is long enough to just use the spider, but we're going to use the Tomo Nagi judo style step on the hip.
So do I keep this here or do I?
Yep. I come to the collar first. If you come spider, it's easier to get to your collar and now get your foot on the hip. Nice. Pulling your hips in up underneath me. And now here's the thing. I'm sorry to stop you right there. You were about to do it correctly. Make sure you lift me with your kneecaps. If you lift me with your shoelaces, you can get bigger amplitude. But number one, my AC joint gets very easily sprained. You don't need help getting my shoulder to the mat. Gravity will do that for you. What we care about is the momentum.
Okay.
So here, you lift me with your kneecaps, get my shoulder on the mat, and now use your feet to unwind the tower, right? Getting them up and over is easy. We give you when they're already touched, and you unfurl them.
That's the same problem I was having with the other one.
Yeah, if you use your energy too quickly by lifting with your shoelaces too early, you don't have anything left for the finish. Let's do it again.
This one I want to work, and then this time or next time, do technical stand-ups.
Cool.
That's something that's also, I think, very practical, but I'm not. I'm messing one part of it up, and I'm kneeing myself in the face with the cushions. Well, that's kind of what it is.
Let's figure it out.
Spider.
Spider's long. Perfect. Palm up. Yeah. What a difference. Here, this is structural, right? Not muscular. Perfect.
Here.
Yeah.
Well, you have here.
Yeah.
Here. Air shake.
And we're all the way through.
Awesome.
Boom.
That was awesome.
That's it. Do one more from your knees. I'll do, you do one more from me on my knees, I mean. So double shin ride. Good. Great. I'd go spider first. It gives us more room to get the lasso. I can't like hide in my head because I'm stuck in front. It's long and we set the end. Front foot, absolutely. So here, I want you to think about, keep the spider, yeah. So you're gonna pull your hips in, you're gonna throw me, and we're gonna roll up on our left shoulder and not our left hip. Left hip's gonna be in the air. Sweet. So hips come flying in, back to square, hips square, yeah. That's where we load the rubber band, and then we release it through the spider hook. So we're away.
Yeah.
If you just throw me from here, my center of balance is on my center of gravity, pardon me, is on the wrong side of the system. Yeah. So we want to square up, and now it's here. Now you're throwing, putting my shoulder on the mat. Now your shoulder comes up. Easier, shorter path, and cleaner momentum transfer to end up all the way on top.
Awesome.
What's the second one stand up? Let's do it right now. It sounds like a 2-second finish. Let's make it 2 seconds.
I think it's go into wall start spider.
Yeah.
Part of the thing is remember.
Paradox of choice.
You post one of your legs, and then I don't remember it. It's alright. I'll watch it.
Do some research. Bring it back to me.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
Yeah.
You should not be kneeing yourself in the face with anyone's knee, and we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Nice. I believe the general rules we talked about are not specific to this system, but are the best practices for back control all the time, full stop.
Okay.
Elbows should be the controllers. Anytime we're grabbing, it's same side palm, cross side wrist. Bottom hook is 98% of control. Every strong escape comes from popping that bottom hook. So as long as we protect those things, keep the elbows where they're supposed to be. The timeline for attack, it's much longer. That's where we actually finish. Cool.
Yeah.
Good lesson.
Great.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
So fun.
Thanks for 2 of 3.
Thanks for bringing the money loss down. This is 2 of 3.
Yeah.
So we've got one more.
Yeah. What names do you think? I'm telling you guys the names you like.
Let me go into my file. I've got a couple that just, I think everything they do is high quality. I think there are some names.
I don't even necessarily, you know, YouTube is a vacuum at times that
Yeah.
I'm probably better off. I have no problem putting a little bit of money into it. Start with Bernardo Fario's.
Sure. Sure. If we,
whatever.
yeah, I mean, if you and I, not that I want to take money away from DVDs and into my pocket, but if we can talk on Mondays and set things up,
Yeah.
and I think we've got a good rhythm of privates. I think following the white belt criteria and adding the rocket fuel to it to make you improve faster is a great way to think about our time moving forward.
I wasn't so big on privates initially, and I took the math in my head and I'm like, well, if I get better faster, it's worth it, and I have less frustration. And like yesterday I was talking to, remember Amit? So I did the math with him, and it's actually like cheaper to do it than to not do it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Especially if you're keeping and retaining through the late learning of looking at it again.
I haven't, I mean I should, I haven't, but I will.
Yeah. Well, that's the point of taking. It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm so glad I get to work with you.
I'm so
Sorry you don't get to come tonight.
I have something planned.
I love that.
Otherwise I would, and I stayed up late last night. I would have come at 12. Slept in. That was my plan. I was come at 12, take a break, and then we start early, we spend time, whatever. And I forgot it was mixed. If it was mixed, I'd be more motivated to get up. But, oh, it's white block class. Headlock is a rough thing to draw.
It is.
It's the fun headlock is half headlock and half neck thing.
Especially for people that don't have the finishing angle correct.
So,
A lot
my
of
neck already
trying to
hurts.
pop the watermelon. Yeah. Yeah. You
I'll
got it
knock
right.
on after.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Popping heads.
Have you seen the video of him?
Asking?
Popping two watermelons?
No. Oh, I like that though.
He literally takes 2 watermelons with this grip and
I love it. I love him.